Hello and welcome, my name is Hero and this is my new Let's Play series of Europa Universalis IV, where we are playing as Brandenburg. And I'm just gonna put this up in the beginning of the video because it's a new series. If you watch this video and you like it, please show so by hitting the like button down in the description. That'll help me out a lot getting this series started. So just a little bit of shameless self-promotion there, and now let's get on with the video. Last episode we didn't really get that far. I was just telling you something about the new things that we got in this expansion. We started talking about my plan, which is to become the Emperor of the HRE, so we are making alliances with Saxony and the Palatinate. Why those two? Well, first of all, I want someone powerful as my ally, which makes sense, right? And these are, except for Bohemia, these are the most powerful of the electors. Second of all, they're both kingdoms, which means that I can get both an alliance and a royal marriage with them. So if I'm fighting for these tiny points here, then 25 relationship points for being in a royal marriage is pretty important. So I can't get that with Mainz and Trier and them, and of course neither can Austria, but Austria can get what it's called imperial authority. So I want to get as many points as I can, so that's why I went for those two. Now you know that as well. Saxony is actually a pretty nice ally, and Palatinate has really high development provinces, so they can also put up a little bit of a fight. So yeah. Another thing I didn't show was the Great Powers. A really new and interesting mechanic that's been added is the Great Powers. So the 8 countries with the highest development, modified by their tech penalty, will be the Great Powers. So what's so great about being a Great Power, you say? Well, first of all, it fixes one of the problems that's been going on with power projection for a long time. Namely that when you hit a certain size, you no longer have access to any rivals because they are all too small, and you don't get any power protection. Well, now if you're a great power, you actually do get points towards your power projection. So that's a really big thing. Other than that, there's a lot of diplomatic options that are only available to great powers. If you want to learn more about them, go watch my video or stick around. Hopefully we'll become a great power somewhere along the ride here. Anyway, we have a free diplomat. Sorry. I think we have an alliance ready here, but we cannot make it until the 12th of December. We have already sent diplomats to the 3 main targets right now. I'm gonna leave one relationship slot open for now in case you want to add someone else. We could ally Bavaria if that becomes no, they have allies actually. Bavaria can be okay as an ally against Austria if you need it. Hopefully we won't. Anyway, even though I don't really care that much about the Papal State, I'm still gonna improve relations because we can still buy things for the Papal influence until we become Protestant. So let's get on with it. We get a lot of things. Oh, I'm also gonna set up my messages. I haven't spent much time on this in the my other Let's Plays, but I actually wanna talk a little bit about this. So information is very important in these types of games, and while it is not necessary to follow along with all of the information, by the way, I'm just accepting this royal marriage with Saxony. It is nice to at least be getting it. So one thing that's nice once you've done the initial setup here is to go and press the best guess thing. This will add all your neighbors and allies and enemies to the countries you will get pop-ups about. So there's one thing missing here, and that's of course the great powers, because if we aspire to be a great power, of course we would want to know about them. So I'm just adding some of the greater powers. Portugal, sure, why not? Aragon I want to know about. Ottomans I want to know about. Austria if I don't already. Denmark I want to know about because we're going to expand that way. Muscovy I want to know about. So a lot of these pop-ups I'm just going to be ignoring anyway, but now I'm at least getting them. So we already expanded the army. Let's just unpause. As I already explained, we're not going to add the two advisors because we don't really have the money right now. Lots of alliances, as I said. Now we're getting the messages. I'm not going to read them right now. Is there anything we want to do with our last diplomat? I think we just want to keep him around so we can do... Ooh, we can do it now. Can we also do something here? Yeah, we can get him there. Get that alliance. Good. And now let's see. Teutonic Order. The Palatinate. So you allied with Mecklenburg, which is my rival, and the Livonian Order. Okay. I think we're gonna call in. We're gonna wait until the army is ready. Then we're gonna call in Poland, which means we're gonna have to give him some provinces. So if you're new to EU4, of course you don't know nothing about this, but if you're a returning player, this might also be new to you if you haven't played for the last couple. I can't remember when it was added, but relatively recent. It used to be that when you had an ally, they would either join or not based on opinions and other factors. Now there's a new system called trust and favors. So when you get a new alliance, usually you will be at about 50 trust. That's just a basic amount. But you will also accrue favors. And these favors you accrue right now every 3 years. That will change based on the relative strength, as you can see here. Meaning that if you are stronger than your allies, you will accrue favors more quickly, and vice versa. So because we are allied to a great power, Poland, we are not accruing the power that quickly. But if we have 10 favors, we can get them to go into a war with us. That is an offensive war. They will always, or if they are inclined to, they will always answer defensive calls. You don't have to spend favors on that. But because we have no favors, we cannot get them to join our offensive war against the Teutonic Order. But it just so happens that Poland also hates the Teutonic Order and also wants some of their land, which is what this little hand means. So if we press this button, and instead of promising them points, we province them provinces, now they're willing to join, and we can invite them to the party. As I said, we are gonna wait though. One thing we can do is go in and get a free general here. We're gonna get a 40 tradition general. Normally we would only get a 9. And army tradition decides how many points they have in their statistics, which we will talk about in just a moment. So we're gonna pay 20 influence is what we're paying for this. That will take them to 72, which is getting close to where it's dangerous, but it's only for 10 years, so there's a good chance that if something happens to take them over the limit, this will run out before it becomes a problem. So now we're going to take a general, and let's see what we got. This is a really good general. So there are 4 stats for generals. There are fire, shock, maneuver, and siege. At the early part of the game, what you want to see is shock. Shock is really important because we haven't really invented firearms yet, so the fire value you have here is probably bow and arrows, something like that. Not really that important yet. As you can see, our infantry only do 0.35 or 35% damage of what they would do normally in fire, and our cavalry does nothing, so not that important yet. But we have 4 pips in fire. Pips, these dots are called pips. So that's really important. Then we have maneuver. Maneuver changes how fastly you move, how much attrition you take, And it also lets you cross rivers without paying a penalty for it in a combat, if you have a higher maneuver than your opponent, so that can be useful as well. And then finally, siege is added to your siege chance. I would have liked to see one there, but you can't have everything. So let's add our general to this. One thing you want to note is that if you're not planning on going in a war, if you're not planning on using him, do not have your generals active, because as soon as they are active in an army, their chance of dying increases. One thing you can also do, of course you can hire a general, it will cost you 50 military points. You can also convert your ruler or your heir into a general, but of course that will increase their chances of dying. So one thing we could do if we wanted to get rid of our heir is to make him into a general. That will make him possible for him to die. We could also disinherit him, but we would need to pay a hefty prestige fine for that. So let's just make him into a general. If he dies, we may get a new one. If he doesn't die, well, we still get a fairly okay below average ruler. So I'm just gonna make him into a general and see what happens. Well, it's not the worst in the world. 222 is pretty okay. Ooh, we actually have... This is actually new. You used to only be able to have one leader, but apparently with feudalism, the new system, you can actually have two, which is really nice, because having only one leader was pretty low. So apparently, what you get from these texts, you also get stuff. So if you have embraced feudalism, you get a leader without upkeep. Renaissance, you get build cost, development cost, provincial trade power, stability, merchants, grid produced, and culture conversion costs. So lots of extra stuff there. Very interesting. I did not know about that. So this is a scripted method. The Kingdom of Italy and the Empire. For years now, imperial authority over the Kingdom of Italy has been waning. Successive emperors have failed to impose their will on the Italian states, and large areas that are formerly part of the empire have been lost to Venice and the Papal States, who reject the empire's right to them. Unless northern Italy is firmly brought back into the empire, the states may slip out of imperial favor forever. So basically, unless Italy becomes part of the empire, or northern Italy becomes part of the empire by 1490 and stay until 1550, they will leave. Were we to continue, there's two things we can do if we become the emperor. We can either try to strengthen the empire and in the end become the emperor of all the land, or we can try to dismantle it. And I'm gonna do the last thing, so I don't really care about all of these states down here. I only want to become emperor for this boost, the tax, the manpower, the land force limit, and for the fact that I then won't be worrying about unjustified land. Let's actually do some stuff now. I'm talking a lot. There's a lot of things to explain. Let's go to war instead. Actually, I might want to go here so we can crush Mecklenburg first. I think Poland already have... Yeah, they already have Lithuania, so they'll have no problem crushing them. I just need to participate enough that I don't have to give them too much land. So, just double checking my casus belli. We are using the conquest casus belli to take Neumark. If we by accident chose the humiliate rival one, for example, then we couldn't take any land, but we could humiliate them for cheap. I'm not interested in this time, but we might want to humiliate Mecklenburg for the power projection if we can. So let's get rolling. Just making sure we are still earning money. Let's go in and kill these guys. It's gonna go down to speed 3. Oh, it has another thing that's been added. All these dots down here on the minimap might be hard to see, but these are now friendly and enemy troops. You can see them on the minimap. Be nice if you could actually zoom the minimap as well, but hey. So we crushed them. 814 deaths is not too bad. So now, what I need to decide is whether to try to siege down this now. First things first, I need to go to the Neumark and make sure that it becomes mine, so I can take it. Because that's what I'm going to war for. I got it. Seems my Soviet's going over here to try to seize down Rostock. That's okay. So far, I have good participation. That will probably change once they start killing people. Let's just go and seize some land. So basically, just to explain what we're doing, we're trying to take this province Neumark because, well, it's pretty easy to take, and it actually used to be a core, so it's not as tempting as it used to be, but it is now in development, and it gives us access to Stolp, which will then give us access to Danzig when we take it, and we need Stolp, Danzig and Königsberg in order to form Prussia. So the faster we get over and take that, the less chance that either Poland or Lithuania will grab it, and we'll have to fight them for it. I would much rather be Prussia when I fight Poland and Lithuania than Brandenburg, so that's kind of the reason. We promised them to give them some territory. In order to give them as little territory as possible, we need to be participating as much as possible in taking over provinces and killing men. Sorry, my voice is still completely fucked up, so just gonna do some sieges. And there's some people over there we can kill. That's gonna be an interesting battle, 1-on-1 in Berlin. I think they are winning Masovia. Okay. How many people do we actually need here? We need 6. Well, we don't really need the leader here, so let's just move him along. Let's do this. Friendlies can attach. This button lets other armies attach to ours, and if we get someone to attach to us, maybe we can go and hunt for some. I can't attack this stack because they're hidden behind the forts. Might as well explain that. So it used to be, if you're an old-time player that's returning, that every single province would have a fort, and in order to take it, you would have to siege it down. They changed that, so now forts are something that you pay an exuberant amount of money for, but they give certain benefits. First of all, they're way harder to take than they used to be. You now require more men, more cannons, more things, more time. Just much harder to take provinces than it used to be. Also, they restrict movement around them. So, for example, this province, I cannot move into it because these two fortresses are protecting it as well as this one. So right now I would be able to move into Königsberg, but then I would only be able to move back the way I came. If I had kept the fort here in Berlin, it would mean that no one could cross from one side of my country to the other one, which is really useful if you are defending. You can keep your army here while your enemies are here, or other way around, and you'll be completely safe while you tool up or whatever you need to do. So forts are really useful, but they're also really expensive when you're a small country. AIs cheat because fortresses are way too hard for the AI to deal with, so they just cheat and don't pay for the ones that are difficult. Like this one, for example, costing 0. We need to participate in the battle so we can make it. Ooh, wipe. Let's go and see if we can take Königsberg. So, one thing that's also important when you are a small country in war is to keep your balance. And one thing you can do that is by... let's go and see if we can engage those. It's by looting provinces. So this is the loot map mode. It shows how much money is left in each province for us to loot. And we can loot a certain amount each month. I think they might actually get to us here. Let's see. Yes, they did. So we're defending against them. We're defending in a forest, so we are getting a terrain penalty or modifier. We are actually... Oh yeah, this is new. This is new. It used to be that you were always defending when you are in a province and someone got into you. But because this is their fort, we are actually the ones who are attacking into this. We are the one who are incurring the terrain penalty, even though we are defending. So we have to pay 1, or we have a penalty of 1 on this attack for the forest. We're getting 2 from our shock because we have shock 4 while they have shock 2. That's a difference of 2 that's added. And then we add a dice roll. And then this dice roll, along with our discipline, military tactics, and the pips on our troops, that is these pips, determine how much damage is done each round. Tactics are defense, discipline are attack, and then of course the pips are attack in yellow and defense in green. And we won that. Let's go and see if we can take memo. Is this just no? They have so many forts. So how is our participation? 20%. I'm not sure if it will be enough. So if we take this, they'll be mad. If we gave them this, they would be happy. Good. And let's see if we can get Mecklenburg out of this. Humiliate. So I talked a little bit about Humiliate. Humiliate costs 40% war score and it gives you 30 power projection. Simple as that. 30% power projection would put us over the limit for extra leader and would put us closer to the 150 power projection we need for the extra monarch points. So we want to do that. For some reason, they don't really care about separate wars, so I can take war reparations in here, even though it only goes to me. So I'm going to do that. I could take the land, but then I would piss off anyone in the empire, and I would not be able to become the emperor. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get some money, get some power points. Might as well see no. And we also get some prestige, which is nice. Not too much though. Let's send that. So I think this is a mistake. I think this should only come at the end of the war. But this is also something that was added. We can now see the losses in a war. So on our side, we lost 28,396, 21,039 in combat, and 7,357 to attrition. This is of course in all of the war. This is their losses, so this is including whatever we lost against Teutonic Order and so on and so forth. So I believe this should only be posted when the war is over, but hey. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end this episode here. We got our first war started, so that's always exciting. If you considered or if you liked this episode, as I said, please feel free to click the like button. That would help me out a lot. Also, if you like these kind of videos, I'll be posting way more in the future, so subscribe to my channel. If there's anything you want to know, anything I'm haven't touched on, feel free to ask, even if it may have come up in another video, or if I did a explanation that you didn't like or understood. Please feel free to ask. I would love to answer any questions you might have, and yeah, hope to see you in my next video, and until then, have a good day.